Several years ago, Verizon actually changed a lot of what it was doing at retail stores. They completely changed the way that they compensated the retail store representatives that were doing sales. And it went from, like individualized compensation based structure to like more focused on store numbers, like collectively, which means there were probably going to be folks who were on the staff that if they underperformed, it wouldn't make a difference. They were still going to do well if the store did well. The problem is there were folks, the best sellers, the stars, the ones that really, really know how to sell to customers. They don't shine anymore. In that instance, they're carrying dead weight. And it probably impacted how much they could earn, because if the store numbers on average were lower than they could achieve individually on commission, then they weren't going to make as much money. Those really aggressive, powerful, consistent, top-notch salespeople left. They left Verizon because they weren't going to make the money that they knew that they could earn based on their output on their individual basis. So they left. And things at Verizon since then, it's kind of, there's been like turnover, there's been, policy changes, and they're trying to like figure things out and all those kind of things. But I've also noticed that with the movement of the old guard, the way that they were doing things, the experience that they had garnered, their, obviously standard of excellence and those kind of things, you have to start bringing in new staff. And if there's turnover, people aren't staying, they're not getting that experience, then you're always having new people. You don't get consistency. You don't get that same standard of excellence that takes years to develop. So I think that's what's happened at Verizon. So when it comes to the retail experience, I don't think the Verizon experience is very good. And I've experienced this the last 2 times I've gone to Verizon stores. And this goes back years because it happened last year when I needed to go to the retail store. Happened the year before that. They're not as good as they used to be because the same people that were there before aren't there anymore. You have new people at these Verizon stores and they have a lot to learn. And they have a lot that they still have to experience and master. So I'm not irrational. I'm not illogical. I obviously operate with reason. I'm an educator by trade. That's what I do. You have patience with people. You coach people. You teach people opportunities to grow, time to get better, the learning opportunities. But what I'm seeing, and this is connected to the Verizon retail experience, they're not as good as they used to be because those people aren't there anymore. So I think there's a little bit of growing pains here. The people that are being onboarded have a lot that they have to learn. They're not as good as the people that they replaced, not meaning that they can't become as good as the people they replaced. That takes time and that takes experience. That's what I think they're lacking. And I also think that the people aren't staying anymore like they used to. The people that used to be at Verizon were 10, 15, 20-year vets. And now you're getting people kind of coming and going, right? Which means you're always retraining. You're always adding new staff and there's no consistency. You see what I'm saying? I think there's a lot of that. And that may not be unique to Verizon. I think people are always looking for a better job, a better paying job, the opportunity to earn more to provide for their families, and the potential to have greater financial outcomes. I think all of that is in play. So this story from Abdullah over at Phone Arena, I'll link it. That'll be in the description. Verizon retail experience dying. Yeah, there's probably some truth to that. I haven't had really any really good experiences at Verizon retail. It's been years. I used to all the time, but it's just not what it once was. And I think it's part of a lot of those things that I discussed. But maybe if you're a longtime Verizon customer, what have you noticed over the last several years? Like I said, I think it's namely after like 2019, that's when I've had poor experiences in the store, when I never had poor experiences in a Verizon store. Guys, I went into a Verizon store a couple weeks ago, and all I could hear from the agents was like, sorry, ma'am, I can't do that, or we don't do that here, or I can't do that. Like there was no like helping people. These are the people that pay your paycheck. They're your customers. They're the ones that pay their bills to Verizon. Verizon cuts you a check as an employee. And maybe they can't do something, but like, why doesn't Verizon have the systems to allow people to do that? Where's the management intervention to come in and save the day and fix the problem? Because the sales agent can't do anything. Like, we gotta, as the retail people, you gotta stop saying no to customers, and the management just has to step in until the reps catch up in what they can and can't do, or know how to do. Like, it's just gonna have to be a collectively better effort, because the competition in the space, like, people can just go to AT&T. A disgruntled customer can just pick up and go to T-Mobile. They can do anything. They could go to an MVNO or a prepaid. Like, how is it better to just let a customer leave and not come back? They're just gonna be like, yo, my experiences at Verizon were bad, and I'm paying premium pricing. Why aren't I not getting premium service? Why do I want to go through this? If I want to be treated like shit, I'll go somewhere else and be treated like shit for less money. You know, I'm just thinking aloud and kind of explaining some things that I've experienced. But yeah, it's definitely degraded, and I think it's some of those factors. What else do you guys think is in play? There's probably some other stuff too, right? What do you think? Throw me some ideas. Why has the Verizon retail experience been dying? Let me know. Like, share, subscribe, check out some more of our videos. We'll see you guys on the next one.